Hey, what's going on? So I just want to give my take on this Crawford and Spence situation. What's going on in the welterweight division? These guys need a fight, absolutely pathetic. I don't know what's going on with these two. I mean, come on, man, make the fight. Spence and Crawford, you're both useless. That's what you are. You're both useless. Okay, I'm not going to take a side here, although I do think Crawford wants to fight more. Crawford doesn't. You never hear Crawford saying you're on the wrong side of the street, blah blah blah, these excuses from Spence. But Crawford himself is just useless as well, because he's not calling for the fight. Call for the fight. You've got to make it known. You've got to call Spence out in the right way. When Muhammad Ali wanted to fight Sonny Liston, Cassius Clay at the time wanted to fight Sonny Liston, he went to his house and threw a bear trap on his front lawn, making it known that he thinks of Sonny Liston as a bear, right? That's what he did. Went to his house and threw a bear trap on his front yard. Come on, Crawford, can't you do that? Track Spence down, go to his door, say let's make the fight happen, or do something. Do something. Be on social media every single day. Make a new video saying, Spence, let's make the fight happen. Next day, Spence, come on, what's going on? Let's get this fight on. Next day, Spence, stop ducking. Because eventually Spence is going to answer like, you know what, fuck this, let's get the fight on. That's what Crawford's got to do. He's got to make it known every single day, every week. He's got to put the pressure on Spence to actually make the fight happen, right? Now Spencer's got this fight with Keith Thurman at 154. I mean, fuck, if you're too big for welterweight, drop the belts. What's going on with this shit? The fight makes no sense at 154. Keith Thurman is a career welterweight. Spence is a career welterweight. If you guys are too big for welterweight, Spence, you should be dropping the titles. You should drop your titles and say, I can't make welterweight. That's why I'm fighting Keith Thurman at 154. The fight makes no sense at that weight. What's the point? Okay, now on the fight, interesting. I am interested in the fight because I think Spence has looked very vulnerable since the car crash, since he was a fucking moron, and got drunk and speeding in his McLaren, is it? I mean, who does that? Who gets drunk, gets into a supercar and floors it? He could have killed someone. What a fucking moron. But hey, it is what it is. He's very lucky to survive. But to me, he looks very vulnerable since that crash. Since that crash, he's mumbled his speech. Okay, he's been hurt. Right, against Ugas he was hurt, and Ugas isn't a puncher. Ugas is a big welterweight, but he's not a puncher. Okay, Ugas didn't hurt Pacquiao. He didn't hurt Porter. Ugas isn't a puncher, but he actually rocks Spence. Okay, Spence, he's got a lot of dog in him, as they say. He's got a lot of dog in him, and he got the job done. He came back, he beat Ugas. Hey, congratulations, Spence. But you look vulnerable, you really do. So the the Thurman fight's going to be interesting. Thurman can crack. He's not one time as he called himself at one time. He doesn't just knock people out like he used to in his early days. But Thurman can crack, and Thurman is a explosive sort of fighter. He normally starts off his fights very fast. I can remember him fighting Danny Garcia, came out of the blocks early, put it on Garcia. Same against Sean Porter. Thurman, he can crack. So 154 might carry more power. The 154 might mean Spence is a bigger guy and carries more power and has more stamina. And maybe, that weight will suit Spence more. But I'm just saying, I think Spence is vulnerable, so it is interesting. It's going to be an interesting fight. But back to this Crawford-Spence situation. I think Crawford demolishes Spence. I really do. I think he knocks him out. Like I said, I see Spence as vulnerable. If Ugas is going to hurt you, Crawford's going to hurt you. And Crawford has finished every single welterweight he's been in the ring with. And even though some people might downplay the opposition, right, that's Crawford's been in with, he's been in with big welterweights. Cal Brook is a big welterweight. There's a question mark over the fight and how fit Cal Brook was. That's a question. That's a question mark. Cal Brook might have been dehydrated for that fight because he had been at 154. He hadn't fought at 147 for a while. Then he came down to that weight to fight Crawford. Okay. But still, Cal Brook's a big welterweight. Crawford got rid of him. Jeff Horn was coming off a win over Manny Pacquiao, albeit a contentious win. But again, a win over Manny Pacquiao. He was a big welterweight. Jeff Horn, Crawford stopped him. Jose Benavidez, big welterweight. Crawford stopped him. Kavaluskas, big welterweight, hard-hitting welterweight. I believe he was undefeated when Crawford fought him. Crawford stopped him. Crawford stopped Porter, who's a guy that doesn't get stopped. That stoppage, I didn't like that stoppage. Porter wasn't done. Porter wasn't on wobbly legs. He wasn't any of that. His corner, his father stopped the fight. But still, Crawford put him down twice, which nobody had ever done to Porter. And then the last guy Crawford fought, pretty tough guy, Evanesian, whatever his name is, and Crawford stopped him again. So Crawford can hit hard. He's a hard puncher, and he stopped a lot of strong welterweights, big welterweights. So if Spence does have a question mark over his chin or his brain, from the car crash and all that, Crawford's going to find out real quick, and he's going to put a beating on him. That's how that fight's going to play out, in my opinion. Crawford is just going to blast him out of there. But hey, we still got to see the fight. Spence is still undefeated. Spence is a dog, like I say. He comes to fight. He brings the fight. He's undefeated. All of that. So, we still want to see it. We still need to see it. We need to see it. It's a legacy fight. So, both guys, Crawford and Spence, get in the ring. Stop being bitches. Okay, you're both ducking each other as far as I'm concerned, because even on Crawford's side, he's not saying enough. Speak up if you want the fight. And Spence, stop the side of the street bullshit. Stop hiding behind Al Heyman. You're fucking pathetic for doing that. Get it on, get in the ring, and let's see this fight once and for all. Alright, take it easy.